Hey guys, this is Adam with PsychedelicInvest.com, and today I'm going to be doing my weekly wrap up of the psychedelic sector, as well as just giving you my perspective on it. So let's just get kicking. So the first most notable news for the psychedelic sector was that the Kathy Woods, aka Mama Kathy, aka the high growth grandma. I just made that one up. Her ARC genomics ETF started a position in ATI Life Sciences. I'm a huge ATI bull in general. I really like ATI's business model. I like the amount of funding ATI has, and I like ATI's pipeline. I like ATI a lot. ATI is one of my favorite plays in the psychedelic sector. And to have Kathy Woods, even though her ETFs have been underperforming the last year, I think it's a huge amount of confirmation bias, and it makes me very bullish in general on ATI. In the fact that she saw value there. This is going to be bringing a lot more fresh eyes. This is going to be bringing many more fresh eyes to the psychedelic sector, which we want. And once again, if you believe in this medicine, if you believe in psychedelics, then any type of publicity or confirmation bias you should be happy with. I think Kathy Woods happens to be a superb, the best kind of confirmation bias you can get, in my opinion. I know some will disagree with me, but in general, I think her and her team do a pretty good job picking these solid growth plays. And I'm very happy that they assessed ATI Life Sciences and they found value there and they started a position there. I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. The psychedelic sector in general is going to be getting more and more new eyes, more and more publicity. So, yeah, I'm very happy with this. The second one I want to talk about is Cybin. Cybin was granted a U.S. patent covering its proprietary compound CYB004, deuterated DMT. So, I mentioned this in a past video before. Basically, I'm very bullish on DMT in general. I think DMT is one of the more overlooked molecules for treating mental health stuff, specifically anxiety and depression. Amongst other things, they're actually looking at DMT for treating, for helping stroke victims too as well. But specifically, I think for therapeutic benefits, DMT is literally, in my opinion, the best out of all the psychedelics. It doesn't get mentioned as much because I think people don't have as easy access to dimethyltryptamine as they would to like psilocybin. But I think with time, people's eyes will be opened and they will see the huge range of benefits that DMT offers. With that said, Cybin now has a patent for deuterated DMT. So I went over this in the last video. Any deuterated molecule is just basically it's Cybin's patent. So like Cybin, what they can do by making a molecule deuterated, so is they can shorten the duration. They can make it so it skips first pass digestion. Faster onset, it's more stable, just all these different ways that they can manipulate it. So Cybin, I think when people were first hearing about the company, Cybin was always talking about like psychedelics 2.0, and I think this is kind of them going in that direction. It's these better versions of psychedelics that we currently have. So, it's worth noting that there are a couple companies working on DMT, different forms of DMT that what is that word I'm forgetting? Oh, that have better patient compliance. And I like the deuterated, that is a mouthful. I like the deuterated angle. I like that Cybin was granted this patent. Like I mentioned in my last video, I think Cybin at some point is going to be prime for a buyout or acquisition, whatever. And I wouldn't be surprised if one of the bigger companies, Atai, or possibly a really big pharma company that isn't directly involved with psychedelics, will acquire Cybin. I'm going to read a quote from Doug Drysdale, who is Cybin CEO, who's amazing. A lot of experience in the pharma sector in general. What he says. He says, "This patent is both rewarding and timely as we prepare to initiate a pilot study for CYB004 in the third quarter of 2022 and work tirelessly to develop an important alternative treatment option for the millions of people suffering from anxiety disorders." All right, perfect. Those of you that have used dimethyltryptamine know how effective it is for anxiety. So looking forward to hear more about this. This is just another box checked off for Cybin. They're making all the right moves. They are silently moving, not really silently, but I was going to make some funny ninja joke there. That didn't work out. But they're basically, Cybin is kind of like low-key just getting all this stuff done and just increasing their value to shareholders while the price is stagnating right now because the markets don't know what they want to do. And they're just very scared. Very scared. All right, the last sector catalyst I'm going to go over will be that this came out today, actually. No, it did not come out today. This is from a while ago, but it's an article that I just found today. Sorry. So basically, the U.S. government will test ibogaine derivatives as an addiction treatment. So ibogaine in general is very effective for addiction treatment. I have friends who have gone to these ibogaine retreats and literally people who are struggling with in the throes of opiate addiction come back and it just completely reset. So ibogaine has always been one of those things that I have been following and have been I think it's like the addiction market in general will be huge for psychedelics. I think that's going to be where they're going to make some of the most noise. Ibogaine has a lot of promise. So basically, the U.S. government is acknowledging this, and they're like, "Hey, we're going to basically test ibogaine for addiction." Great, very happy about that. It just legitimizes more of these psychedelic perspectives, or what we know as investors already know about these psychedelic medicines. Anyway, so Delix Therapeutics is the one, are the one that are going to be running these tests. So what is important to know about Delix Therapeutics is that Compass owns 8% of Delix Therapeutics. So if you want access to Delix, I think through Compass would be the best way to do that. And I'm going to read a quote from what the CEO of Delix was saying. And yeah, basically this is what he's saying. His name is David Olson. "The therapeutic potential for ibogaine is huge. There are some indications that a single dose can keep people with opioid use disorder drug-free for months." So that's huge. If this starts to gain more traction and shows promise, the amount of money that's going to pour into ibogaine, and the psychedelic sector in general is going to be ridiculous. So love this. I think in general, this is stuff I want to be reading, or I want to read articles like this. It makes you realize, number one, still how early we are with this sector, and like if ibogaine or any other psychedelic can solve any piece of the puzzle in terms of addiction, because what we're using now in the United States, and I think worldwide in general, to deal with addiction is completely failing. I know some people get use out of Suboxone, Belbuca, but they're not the most effective at getting people off the drugs at all. If anything, it's just transferring addictions. And it's just we're really failing addicts, in my opinion. And I think the quicker we hit that inflection point where psychedelics are looked at as a a real solution, or a real that can be something that can significantly help people dealing with addiction problems, I think the quicker we're gonna start like seeing just how effective psychedelics can be for treating any type of addiction, anxiety, depression. They all kind of feed into each other in some capacity. And it's just, I'm really excited. And once again, guys, we're really early. All right, so now I'm going to switch to and take my big head off the screen, and we're going to go into the charts real quick, and I'll just go over some of these companies quickly. All right, guys, ready? All right, so another thing I forgot to mention is this. Essentially, weed stocks are going to have started to gain momentum again. April is when I think there could be some sort of legislation passed, or just more. Or April is where Chuck Schumer was like, "Hey, this is when I plan to get something passed, or whatever, or I'm going to present something." So I think, basically, psychedelic plays and weed stocks tend to correlate with each other, and if we start to see a reversal, which I'm seeing here already. With these weed plays, this is the MSO's ETF. So I usually just track the American weed companies. I don't really track the Canadian ones. But basically, if this continues its uptrend, we should experience we should be getting some love in the psychedelic sector as well, because they do correlate in some capacity. So I just want to put that out there. All right, cool. Now what do we got? All right, the first catalyst was Atai and Cathie Woods. So look, once again, still getting beaten down since IPO. Essentially, Atai has been getting beaten down, but they had a low of $4.62. But since then, and I was mentioning it actually the other day, I think the price was closer. I don't know. I forgot what the price was. It was like in the low fives. It was like $5.05, something like that. And I was saying how oversold. So RSI is a good indicator for if something is overbought or oversold. And how Atai was like, I think they were 33, which was like they were entering levels of very, very of being significantly oversold. So the Cathie Woods catalyst dropped. I think Atai managed to touch $6, get close to it, and then now it's at $5.54. So they did dump a little today. Not really dump. They didn't pump. Atai did not pump as hard as it would have, because also the Russia war, the Ukraine-Russia war, was bringing all the markets down today. And Atai is going to be another casualty of that. If you can grab Atai shares close to $5, I would do it. Understand that, yes, there could be more uncertainty in the markets, but I really don't see Atai getting under $4. Look, their low in the bleeding was around 462. So I'll say the closest that you could get to 462, great. I think $5 is great. I will be buying more shares of Atai Life Sciences, and I think I'm going to try and scalp some shares around $5.20, something around there. We'll see what happens to the markets. I'm going to follow the news in general that day, but $5.20 I would feel comfortable buying. Re-upping and getting some more Atai shares. All right, Cybin. Cybin had the patent news. We didn't see much out of Cybin. Since the patent news, I guess, we've seen some type of recovery. They're still going to trade sideways. They're going to hover between, like, I guess the price we're seeing right here, and under $1. Not significantly under $1, so we'll see 93 cents there. But they will touch under $1, in my opinion. Again, I don't think that patent news was significant enough to really to give Cybin a significant pump. But once again, as an investor, if you're already an investor in Cybin, great news. If you're looking to start a position, it's just more confirmation bias where you can be like, hey, sounds good. Like I said in the last video, I think they're pretty oversold. You could try and scalp shares under $1, but I like them. I wouldn't have a problem starting a position at this price either. All right, Compass. So I'm only looking at Compass now just to basically because I mentioned that Ibogaine thing and how they own 8% of Delix. And basically, yeah, dude, Compass, if you want to start a position anywhere between 13.69 and the current price right now, I don't think there's a tremendous amount of downside. I think if you have a long-term outlook, you will be fine. I would not worry too much about Compass. Compass is also going to be the first with all of the psilocybin catalysts in the sector. So we should be hearing more about their trials later on in the year. But yeah, in general, I don't have many issues with Compass. I like Compass. I know ATI has an ownership stake in Compass as well. But that's also why I just like ATI so much in general. ATI gives you access to so many good companies. It's kind of crazy. Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah. So basically this is my video. We're going to have still more uncertainty in the markets. We're probably still going to see some sideways movement from a lot of psychedelic plays. Certain catalysts can change things. It's not going to be that significant like we're seeing with ATI. That is going to be the next company I will be focused on buying shares though is ATI. And yeah, I'll be here next week to give you guys some more weekly roundup of the sector catalyst and my outlook on it. This is Adam with Psychedelic Invest, and thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend.